Hello everyone. Yeah, today we are going to talk about five people you meet in heaven, which is a very interesting book. I'm not sure how many people love to read novels or stories. This author is one of my favorite author, Mitch Albom. He writes excellent books. So let me, yeah. His name is Mitch Albom. He writes excellent books and he wrote number of books. Look at the numbers, like 42 million copies worldwide and 48 languages around the world. And still many of us don't know about him. And his books are excellent books. Let me share all books. So this is the new book, which I'm still reading that one. And The Little Liar, he writes a story about Holocaust and how Germany happened and how all the people were segregated. This is an excellent book. And Tuesdays with Mori, there is a movie also there. You might love it. These are all like stories. Like he writes it as a story, as a conversation which we discussed before. Uh, Courage to be happy, courage to be disliked. It's a discussion. Pattern. Same thing like Tuesdays with Mori. And this is the one we are talking about five people you meet in heaven. And he also wrote Have Little Faith. This one I will cover maybe in a couple of weeks. I really love this book also. And I read this one, First Phone Call from Heaven. So this one I haven't read. We can cover this one. Next person you meet in heaven. Finding Chica is he goes to a earthquake place where he finds a small girl and how he brings her up and what challenges they have and all those things he covers in this one. This one I don't remember. I read it. The Stranger in the Lifeboat, same thing. So like
Are
this,
all,
he. Uh,
sir, are all these books real or is it a friction kind of thing?
um, he says these are all stories he learned and then writes it about it.
Mm.
This is basically he talks with a lot of people and created this one. But Tuesdays with Mori, he talks with one of his professor or somebody. And Have Faith is talking with two pastors. One is a rabbi and another one is a church priest, like that. So the five people who you meet in heaven is, let's go back to this book where he starts off with saying that this is a person, story about a person called Freddie who and he starts off the book with saying that Freddie is going to die in an hour, and then he starts off saying that he's going to die in 1 hour. He is a maintenance worker for a Ruby Pyre, which is like amusement park where he is the mechanical guy, mechanic. He who maintains all the rides. So in 1 hour he goes from place to place and runs sends youth away, and he complains about his knee leg which he had injured in World War. And then one little girl comes to him and says, Mr. Maintenance. He has Eddie Maintenance on his shirt, so everybody calls Mr. Maintenance. So the little girl comes to him and says, "Can you make me the animal?" So he takes the pipe, that pipe balloon. He blows it up and makes an animal and give it to her. And he asks, "Where are your parents?" She says, "Oh, somewhere there." So like that, he builds the story, and finally there is a lot of commotion going on, and he turns around and thinks what's going on. Oh, before that, he introduced another young guy who is helping him the maintenance and other thing. So there are three people. One guy is sitting on the top of demon drop or something like that, which is dropping people down, and one young guy at the bottom. And there is a lot of commotion. And when he looks around, uh, one of the car, there are two cars, and one car is hanging loose, and four people sitting in there, and they are going to fall to the earth without much support or anything like that. So he immediately calls the young guy and says, "Go up and ask him to do this, this, this. Go, you to reach out to four people, pull them out to the platform, and then drop the cart." That's what he tells. And then he tells another story there. The three friends went to amusement park, and as usual, we are what we think, like we put the guy puts everything in the car and takes only the car key and puts it in his jacket and goes for the ride, and he goes around the ride and then goes back to the car, and he doesn't find the key. It's fallen somewhere in his rides. So that's what he tells, which is 1 month or 2 months before that happened, and now this is happening. So he gives instructions. Then suddenly he's see, when you are good with your environment, he can figure out what's going on. With the sound, he can tell that it is not anything wrong with the engine. It is the cable which is pulling it. The key which the boy lost the last time is fell in between that car and the cable, and it is cutting the cable. He recognized that, and he shouts saying that, hey, don't drop the car, don't drop the car. But in the all the commotion, the guy on the top doesn't hear it. So four people, they pull them out, and the cart starts falling, free fall, and he sees the girl underneath that, and he jumps with this painful leg. He jumps, and all he feels is the hands of that little girl. That's it. He doesn't recognize anything. Then he got he is up and he's going around, and he is jumping. He is not feeling his old age. He's like 82-year-old guy, but he's not doing anything, and he's jumping around, and no more limping, no more back pain, nothing there. So he doesn't know what's going on, and all the ruby pair was empty. Everything was there, but it is like 50, 60 years back how it was, because they rebuilt it so many times. He sees all of that, and he was wondering what's happening, and then he finds a blue man who is completely blue. Then he goes back again. The author takes us back and says, when Eddie was very young, there used to be a circus show in the place. Eddie's dad is also in the from the same place, who was again mechanic. So Eddie is there from childhood to all the way to 80 or 90 years old. So he sees himself as a young guy, and there are all crazy people. Just like our mirrors, we have magic mirrors where we go inside, our head is blown up or stretched. Like that, there are weird people. We call them as weird people, but some of them have a huge belly, some of them have 300, 400 pounds heavy and all that stuff. And then they see, as a young guy, a blue man sitting there. He's completely blue. So he was very afraid. Eddie was like 5, 7 years old, and so he walks away, runs away from there. That's all happened. Now he's seeing him. What's happening? That's what he thinks. What is happening? Then the blue man says, come on, Eddie, I'm waiting for you for a long time. He said, what? Why are you waiting for me? Oh, that's what happens. You meet five people, and when I died, you are. He tells you are dead. Then he says, "Did I save the little girl's life?" He says, that will be told to you later on. But let me tell how you are responsible for my death. He said, "What? I never killed anyone. I didn't. How I'm responsible for your death?" He says, come on, it's okay, sit." And he explains how he became that way. He was very poor, and to get the self-esteem in her childhood time, he takes some nitric oxide or something like that, and he takes more and more, and he changed his whole complexion into blue, and he became a blue man. And one time circus people were going, and they saw him, and then they put all the creepy people into the same thing, and they were telling about it, and to generate business. That's how it was happened. Then Eddie says, yeah, that's okay, but how I am responsible for your thing? He says, nothing happened in life without there is a connection. You don't know that you are responsible. He said, why? How? He takes him back, and they were playing, he and his brother were playing a ball game or something, or baseball. And one time Eddie hits the ball, and it flies through the street, and falls near the car. And he goes pick up the ball and went back, and he, as usual, he's done everything. However, that sudden impact caused the death of the blue man, which he doesn't know anything about it, but that's how it happened. So he says, you are not responsible, but small action like that caused it, a ripple effect. That's why I'm gone. Now I'm ready, I'm free, I can go away, I don't need to stay here. That's what the blue man says, and he goes away. Then Eddie was still thinking what's going on. Then he meets four people in succession. I don't want to give you all the people who he meets in the succession. Everyone reveals some secret of his life which he was repenting. One of the uh, reason why he has a limping leg and who the little girl was, whether he saved her or not, and why she appeared in his life. All those details were given in the story format. The remaining four people. That's how he builds the story, and it will take you along. I strongly encourage you to pick up the book and read it. You will love it. The same way, like he tells each of them, and then I have some uh, meaning out of that. Let me share that one.
Did the little girls got saved, sir? I'm
Have little
curious
faith
to.
is different book. Have little faith is different book. So the connection is a child. As a child, Eddie runs into a street to chase a ball, and the blue man driving by sword his turns his car and to avoid the collision and had a fatal heart attack. That's how blue man is passed away. The lesson in that one is there are no random acts. All lives intersect. Death doesn't just take someone; it misses someone else, and small distance between being taken and being missed. Life has changes. That's how the life lesson with the blue man. Second one, life lesson, I'll tell you why it is. So we always regret why it is happening and all that stuff, but there is a value in it. Somebody passed on, somebody gave you that to so that they sacrifice something to for you to gain something. That's what they tell from the second person. Third person is anger is a poison. It is inside you, it will eat you. That's what it tells about it. Why Eddie was so angry, and why he needs to forgive the people, and whoever is violated his rights. That's what the third story says. The fourth says love does not end with death. That's another story where he tells about life. It has to end, but love doesn't. Last love is still love, and it just takes a different form of memory. The third one is the little kid. Sorry, I gave you that one, where she explains how she is related to him, and what how he was doing it, and never thinks that your life is wasted. She says, being a maintenance guy, you saved so many kids' lives. It's not like one kid life. So you are doing great service. Don't think that you are doing a manual job of mechanic and I don't care, though nobody cares about me. No, she explains that the life is much more than that. Like that, he builds it, everything, and core themes are meaning of ordinary life. Eddie felt his life is mundane and unimportant. The book argues that there is no such thing as an ordinary life. Every person is a hero to someone else. That's what we are, villains in some other's life and heroes into some other lives. It's a hero and villain plays together. That's why it takes you back to the same thing in the courage to be disliked, or story of you, where we talked about it. What story you talked about, tell to yourself. So don't go into pity party. Go, you can tell different story and come out of whatever you have. So small actions have a massive unforeseen consequences across the time and space. So I created some parallels between the story of you and this book, and I will show you that one. Let me share that one. So mastering self-creation through connectivity and purpose, moving from your coordinated past to your created future. Oops, I'll do one page at a time. So we need to break the trance, identify the conditioned story that limits your potential. As in the story of you, Steve Chandler mentions, break out of your conditioned self to realize your potential. No act is random. As I mentioned, it's a blue man story where he teaches Eddie every life is intersects. Even our life here, we are always seeing different number of people in the meeting. Whoever supposed to come, they will come. Whoever supposed to watch, they will watch on the video. So that's how it's all connected. We are all, your story is intertwined with the thousands of others. Responsibility, we are nodes of massive human network. There are no background characters in reality. Only thing is we need to look how we are connected and what we need to learn from each one of us. We learn every day of our life. And releasing judgment, Here, one person tells how to release the judgment out of the life and move beyond that and forgive other people. Sacrifice. I told you some things happen because I'm not giving away the story to you. The captain, he tells about why he is limping and what is the story behind it, which Eddie doesn't know. He doesn't have a clue, but he knows that he has a limp happened from his youth time frame, 20s or 30s time frame. He has that limp, and why he had it and who caused it. He doesn't know any of that thing, and here he comes to know about it through this person. Then here they're showing old way of etiology, focuses the causation. I am the this way because of what happened to me. A lot of times we think about, oh, that day that person did it, that's why I'm stuck in this job. No, you can change that. What goal am I achieving with this behavior? It recognizes a lot about that our limitations are often choices made for safety. We do a lot of choices for safety of our this being. We want to be choose some actions. If you look at any of your action, you choose it for your own safety. The story is not who you are. It is just a story, and because it's a story, it can be rewritten at any time. That's what Steve Chandler always tells it to you. And I think we have seen this one about victim mentality and owner mentality. Here again, a number of books come in this way. Story of You, and even um, the mind thing she talks about. I will cover that one also later on. Five pivotal connections. You are a hero to someone. Eddie spent his life resenting his mundane job at the Ruby Pair. And then the Tala reveals how a careful maintenance saved thousands of children over decades. That's what gives in one of the story. So we rarely see the full scope of our service. You bring your boring consistency might be in a very thing keeping someone else world from falling apart. So here again, Toastmaster says never put your butt in front of other people's face. So catch yourself, but catch yourself saying, I want to, but I'm not that type. Catch that butt and change it. Don't wait for and feel confident to act. Act as if the person you want to be, and your identity will catch up your behavior. And then we talked about separating the tasks, which is from courage to be disliked. It's their task. If they think something else, let them think it. We don't need to go correct and make our life miserable. So that's what comes there. I don't know how I'm not picking any of these books any particular order, but they are falling into place exactly like a story of you. I was not at all thought about covering that book. However, when I went to visit my daughter, there in her bookshelf, I found this book which I gave it to her, Story of You. So I covered it last week, and this week, this book I'm covering. This I'm thought of covering last week itself. So I believe in divine plan. He is guiding step by step, and we are covering different books. So the eternal love, last love is still love, and then hidden purpose, legacy. These are all the things he covers in that one. We plant seeds in the lives of others that we may never see bloom. We never see what happens. Like think about it. Today I came here to Dallas for attending a marriage of one of my wife's cousin, and they were telling about stories about how his brother was in the different people's lives and how he cares about them. All those things, like I'm amazed. I'm not doing all of that. Like how he connects with the people. Even 10th class, somebody helped him to write the exam. He goes back to meet their mom, not the guy, mom, and takes care of her. So yeah, all these are the legacy we leave when we are not here. um, yeah, in the other book, Have Little Faith, one quotation is there. He says, we are afraid that people will forget. That is our fear of death. The death is, we are so much afraid that people will forget us. So back to here, it says, the pen is in your hand. Which chapter of your old story will you close today? So these are images, that's fine. So stop. Yeah, that's how this book is taken, and five people, you will see all of them. And throughout the story, Eddie's life goes back and forth, how he fights with his brother, and how he gets hospitalized, how he served in army, different things he cover, and all of them glued together as a story to keep our attention on the story to move forward. If I talk more, I might give away the more of the story. That's why I don't want to talk much about that. Any questions I can answer?
Sir, I have a lot of questions, sir. You gave only one point. Now I'm thinking about, is that the girl Tara or Tala?
Tala.
Tala.
Mhm.
So she survived and she told that you
Yeah, from
have
his,
saved so many kids.
yes, yeah.
Wow.
Basically, that girl is from his military time. Something happens, and that's what the guilt was burning him from a long time. And then what happened? All those things she connects it and then gives it back to him. At that time, something happened. Like all those stories are glued together.
Wow.
Yeah.
But those five people and five concept kind of thing, which I didn't get, sir. First one, you said it is connectivity,
Connectivity, first one. Second one is
tact,
somebody is giving you the gift of life. Uh,
gift.
yeah. Third one is like anger, which will eat you. So how to forgive others and get out of that
Forgive.
anger instead of
Yeah,
killing
that's
killing
where I was
yourself.
trying.
Yeah, yeah, anger. Fourth one is love.
Love.
Love never dies away. And fifth one is you never think that you are doing some menial job or nobody cares about it. You are helping thousands of people without knowing it. That's what
Yeah.
the girl explains to Eddie, saying that, hey, you saved so many people because Eddie is so good in maintaining all that fire. Think about it, entire thing he knows. With the sound itself, he knows that, oh, okay, that ride needs some help, that ride needs some grease, like that. Which we might have heard a lot of people do that the same thing when they are
Yeah.
train going. They says, yeah, there is something wrong there or something. They can tell by the
Exactly.
sound. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
those five things he glued together as a connection and built a story. This is not a real story or anything, but he built it around it. Real stories are Tuesdays with Maury, where he goes and
Mm.
talks with somebody, and then Have Little Faith. Another beautiful book. I recommend it. Have Little Faith. Yeah. And another one is another story, first call from heaven, call from heaven or first call from heaven. There, that is also very funny, and he builds the story all the way, and at the end, he leaves you to think about whether it is came from heaven or is it somebody manipulated or we don't know that. So he gives all the things there, but still that book takes you with the thrill of knowing what's going to happen. What's going to happen? Very nicely
Yes.
built. Yeah.
Yeah. The way the first person, the blue man,
Hmm.
when you were saying about it, sir, I read a book called Spiritual Laws.
Hmm.
Um, in that, more like all the relatives, friends, family members, everybody will be waiting over there just to welcome us.
Yes.
So this is something like so many people, I mean, like, I don't know, after near real death scenarios, or there are cases which are written in the book saying that people will be waiting for you to come up and greet you. So
Yeah.
maybe
I
this
have
is
my own
all real.
experience. I have my own experience with that. My friend's son is who is who was 12 year old. He woke up around 2 o'clock, and mom and dad went to him and say, he started woke up or whatever. He in the sleep he was talking. All of them came, mom. All of them are came at the door. All of them are there. Mom thought he's dreaming about party or something like that. He said, yeah, yeah, we can have party. All your friends are there. He says, yeah, no, no, no. All of them are there, but they didn't catch it. And around 3 or 4 o'clock, they saw he had a very bad leg issue, But he was sleeping with straight legs. Until then, he was only folding straight legs, and they said, okay, maybe he's recovering well and other things. They went to sleep around 5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock they woke up and saw he's no more. Then we realized that all the people waiting at the door is for him to leave. He is already
Yeah.
telling his mom he had a bone cancer, so that's a different issue. However, the story relates to it, as you
Yes.
were saying. There are, and a lot of people told. There are a number of books written about near-death experiences. If you want to read, I
Yes.
can have a list of them. NDE excellently they are described out about what happens out of body experience. We are in meditation, so we know out of body experiences. So they are on the operation theater, and um,
Yeah.
I I that
Astral City is another.
yeah.
Astral City is another movie, sir. In there, they
Yeah.
also show the same kind of thing.
Yeah, you mentioned about it. I haven't seen the movie, but I read
Yeah.
number of books. Marjuani or something her name is, and she was suffering from cancer, and she goes into the operation theater. People thought that she dead. She's gone, and they do a lot of like surgery. The doctors were frantic and everything, but she was hovering around, and she saw everything, and then she came back and told everything back to them and what happened, and she is out of cancer, everything like that. So there are a
Yeah.
number of books where they go
Yes.
to some place and then come back. Recently I read about this is I don't know that you like Satya Sai Baba's story. Also, I saw read one devotee telling that she had a cancer, and mom is very much devotee of Subramanya Swami. They don't know about Satsai Baba or anything like that time. And mother-in-law says, we are devotees of Subramanya, Lord Subramanya. He will protect you. Don't worry. And they were doing a lot of penance and other stuff. This girl was becoming weaker and weaker, and almost after 7 8 months later, and she wakes up in the middle of the night and calls mother-in-law saying that, hey, there was a big serpent going around my bed, what's going on? So they looked everywhere and they don't find anything. And then mother-in-law says, it's okay, nothing happened, go back to sleep. So she sleeps again. At that time, somebody comes in her sleep. I think Murugan comes into her sleep and puts a trishula into her heart, and then he takes her out of body and goes up, and then he asks, do you want to stay here or you want to go back? She says, no, 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 I want to go back to my kids and my mother-in-law. My husband is there, I want to go back. So he says, okay, you can go. And there was a spiral staircase, and she gets down and went back into the body. That's what happened, and she started healing afterwards. Everything was done deal. After 20 years, somebody tells about Satsai Baba. So they um, go to him, and there Swami says, I saw you before. And the lady says, no, 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 this is first time we are coming, we don't know anything about you. He says, no, I saw you. And then she looks back behind Swami, and there the spiral case which she dreamt in the 20 years back, the same staircase she went down. Then Swami says, yes, it was me, and he
Mm.
materialized Subramanya Swami and idol and gave it to her. So, a lot of stories which we go back out of the body, see somebody, talks with someone, and come back. Even this,
Yeah.
you need to
Conversation
read,
with God.
yeah, Conversations with God, and another book is um, Soul's, Your
Soul's
Soul Plan,
Journey.
Soul's Journey.
Soul's Plan.
Excellent book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.